First thing we need to make leaf mold biology is leaf mold. Go into the woods to the floor of the forest where the leaves are, and we're looking just under this first layer of leaves. And right there, that looks like a nice spot, is the stuff we're looking for right there. That's leaf mold. And so we're going to use this handful to make leaf mold biology. When you make leaf mold biology, you want to make it in the environment that you're going to use it. So here we are out at your field, and so this is the place we want to make it. I'd like to find a shady spot so it doesn't succumb to the extreme temperatures of the day, but has more of an average temperature throughout the day and night. Right. So this is the equipment needed to make leaf mold biology. And so the leaf mold is the life source that we're going to be trying to propagate, and the potato is the food that's going to eat that. And the reason you want it boiled is when we put everything into this bucket, we're going to need the potato and the leaf mold to suspend the biology and the food within the bucket, within the water. And so you want a cooked potato in order to have that break apart and be suspended in the water. So as far as the setup goes, we're going to use a small piece of wire, and we'll attach that to the bucket on either side, and this is what we'll use to suspend the socks into the bucket. And then we'll take a sock, and we'll put some potato in the sock, and then we'll also throw a rock in the sock. And what the rock does is it holds everything down, so things will be suspended in the middle of the bucket and not float to the surface. In the other sock, we'll put the leaf mold that we gathered from the wood in there. And because that's so dry, it really is a concern to me. I've not seen stuff so dry, and also there was no evidence of that white mycelium that I often see when I look at leaf mold. The biology at my house is a lot higher in elevation. We're at about 300 feet above sea level here, maybe even less, maybe 200 feet. My house is a little bit over 1,000 feet in elevation. So as you go up in elevation, the biology will change. The biology changes on the north or south side of the hill. Biology changes in the shade and the sun. But a biology from a higher elevation will thrive in a biology situation in a lower elevation, whereas a lower elevation biology may not survive in a higher elevation biology system.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and you think about it, it's harder, it's colder, there's less oxygen at elevation, and when you come down, things are nicer. And so that kind of makes sense.
Just like athletes trying to higher elevations, to keep their breath control.
Yeah. And so we're also going to throw a rock in this sock with the leaf mold. And then we're going to suspend that.
Back with some water?
Back with some water. And we could have a conversation all day long about water and quality of water. In this particular instance, we're using the water that's available, which is oftentimes the best water. What we're going to do now is we're going to suspend the socks with the potato and the leaf mold in the bucket, and we're going to use a little wire clip to hold it in place such that the rock and the weight sit in the middle of the bucket. And then we're going to knead each of the socks to get the food and the biology suspended in the water. And you can see all that starch
coming off into the water.
Coming off and going into the water. You can see the color. You can know it's a purple potato. You can see that purple color. And we're going to knead this for a few minutes, a minute or two. Make sure that all that potato is available for our biology to eat. And the leaf mold will do the same thing. Make it so that and we'll make that so that that's also about in the middle of the bucket. And then we'll fasten this. I use cotton socks and not dyed. So you want the material to be as nice, I'll call it, as possible.
Yeah,
you could use
clean.
a burlap bag. You could use any number of things. It doesn't have to be necessarily a sock. There, and now we'll knead the leaf as well, just like we did the sock. And now you see that brown color, so we know we've got biology and starch in the bucket. All right.
Awesome.
And so I just throw those on the top of the water. And what we'll do is we'll cover this very lightly. And the purpose of the cover is to keep rain from getting into the bucket and keep insects from laying eggs in the bucket. And we'll monitor this. Now it usually takes about 3 to 5 days actually 2 to 5 days for the biology to reach its peak activity. And once it reaches its peak activity is when you want to use it. And peak activity is determined really by inspection. Come and look at it every day and see how the fuzz is developing on the surface of the bucket of the water. And when it reaches a maximum, that's when you want to use it. And you'll dilute it 20 or 50 to 1, depending on how much space you have and depending on other circumstances, in order to provide biology to whatever environment you're applying it. So we'll look for a rock to put on the top of this as well, just to hold it down so the wind doesn't blow it off. And then we'll come back and see how it looks.